Ready? Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome. We are grateful for all of your attendance to our District 7 School Board meeting this afternoon. We apologize for running a few minutes late. We had a number of items to discuss in our executive session. But we will call our meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. We invite all of you to stand and join with us in reciting the pledge. Ready to begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, our first item on the agenda is communications and presentations. And go ahead.
Yes, there are two written communications by patrons of the public who asked for their written communication to be public record and noted as public comment as related to the interviews of the board vacancy.
We should have those in your packet, and would also request that anybody wishing to speak, they can pick up a blue card and then submit it to us, and we'll call on you at the appropriate time. We'd remind everyone we have 3 minutes for your comments, and that includes anyone who is visiting on Zoom. You can put something in the chat, and we will monitor that as well. So we have 2 other items that are in the packet, 4.3, our financial report, and 4.4, our enrollment report for the board to review. We'll go to 5.0, our consent agenda. And we'd entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda items.
Member DeLagrange, so moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Member Coolman, second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say yes. Yes. Any opposed? Great. Thank you. All right, we're going to jump into our action items tonight first, going out of order a little bit from our typical meetings, as we have 2 of our board members who are running for county commissioner. We'll mention both of them, so not to play favorites, Brian and Gary. Excited for both of you. We wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. So item number 1 under 6.0, 6.1, superintendent selection and approval of contract.
I move that we approve Tim Sweeney's contract and the contract as discussed. That was bad.
So I believe what you said is you would motion to approve Tim Sweeney as the new superintendent and the contract as discussed in executive session. Okay, thank you. There's our motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? All right, thank you. That motion carries. 6.2, approval of MOA increased pay for site-based SPED EA, EL liaison, and SPED bus monitor. Entertain a motion to approve that action item.
I'd move to approve the MOA for increased pay for site-based SPED, EA, and EL, and liaison, and SPED bus monitors.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or further discussion? All in favor, please say yes. 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 Any opposed? Thank you. 6.3, approval of current superintendent separation benefits. I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
My mic is on, so I'll move to approve that.
Thank you. We have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions, concerns, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. 6.4, approval to use donated funds for GPHS. Brian.
I just had a question. I wasn't totally sure how this came to be, so I was just looking for a brief background.
Yep, I'm going to defer to Director Ely at this
There you are.
Brian, can you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. I was just wondering the context for item 6.4, the approval to use the donated funds. It looks like maybe we got a donation and it's going to be used for new scoreboard or something.
Yes. A couple of meetings ago, I presented the donation to the board, and it was from the estate of Bill Engler, and he requested that the funds be used for the boys and girls basketball programs. And so, based on the needs of both of those programs, the scoreboard is what they chose to spend those funds on, and we just needed your guys' approval for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm sorry, who is the donation from?
Bill Engler's estate.
Bill
Engler.
Engler? Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I move that we approve 6.4.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments? All in favor, please say yes. Yes. Any opposed? Thank you. 6.5, approval of budget committee member. Sherry, do you want to speak to the process and then the selection that you're bringing for the board?
Whenever there is an opening on the budget committee, we post for that opening and we receive applications for that. Those are reviewed and there are interviews done, and then a selection is made for presentation to the board to approve.
And we had we had two applications, but one person applied and came for the interview. Is that correct?
Yes, we did have two applicants, but one applicant was non-responsive to our reaching out to them for an interview. So we ended up with just one candidate for that position.
And that candidate is Marinda Chatfield. Is that correct? And did you have an opportunity to interview her along with some of our board members, I believe?
Yes. And I would definitely recommend her for the position.
Okay. Any of the board members who attended the interview, your thoughts or feelings?
I attended the interview and I thought she sounds very capable for fulfilling the duties of the position.
Okay, then we will entertain a motion to approve Marinda Chatfield as the newest member of our budget committee.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions? All in favor, please say, sorry, Debbie?
I was just going to say, I was also in the interview process and highly recommend her also.
Okay, great. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes?
Any opposed? Thank you. Man, it is so nice when we're all just so collegial and in agreement. I'm so thrilled today. This is fantastic. All right, 6.6, approval of marketing 1.0 textbook adoption. Kurt, do you want to have someone speak to this item, or do we have anyone who'd like to talk on that?
Yeah, I'll defer to, go ahead, Trish. Yes, to the mic, please. So recently, the board was, I don't know how long ago, was apprised of the marketing and business program revamping that has been done. And so, Director Evans.
Yep. The textbook is the one used by the college and is required text for the program of study. Our Parent Advisory Council looked at it as well. A couple parents came in to review it. No issues there for you today.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to approve.
I move that we approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Member Coolman, second.
Thank you, Cliff. It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions?
I'd just like to mention I really appreciate the work the staff does, teachers and administration both, in working with the colleges to make a smooth transition for our students and to make it as valuable as possible.
Thank you, Debbie. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you. All right, 6.7, and well, we'll just take them one at a time. 6.7, approval of non-contract MOA. We have a motion to approve.
Member DeLaGrange, so moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Member Coolman, second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any further comments? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. 6.8, approval of contract with options. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Brian?
Yeah, I just had a question on this one. On page 2, it talks about the compensation, and specifically it outlines the compensation for the high school and then for elementary education. And I'm just wondering if the middle schools are a part of that. Do they fall under one of those categories? I noticed elementary is a much bigger number than the high school, so just wondering how that plays out.
Yeah, Trish, can you speak to options staff or, oh, thank you. Susan is on her way to the mic to talk about that.
Well, I can speak to the elementary contract. It's for 7 skills trainers. So if you remember in our work with the SIA budget, we prioritized having skills trainers at each of the elementary as a new addition this year. And so that's the majority of that elementary contract. And then the other, I forget, they didn't call it stepping stones, but I forget what it's, day program. That's so our stepping stones program that's at Riverside also has a skills trainer through options.
So I think Member De La Grange's question was regarding our middle schools and level of services provided by options to middle schools.
This is for the 21-22 school year. We're looking to expand for next year at middle school with our contract, but currently we don't contract services with options, only at the high school level.
Okay, so this contract ends at the end of this school year. Okay, so we're just approving it late?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was based on communications with options, and they didn't get the revisions back to me until just last week. So yes, we're late this year.
Okay, thank you. I really hope we can expand that at the middle schools next year.
We've already requested that.
All right. So we need a motion to approve 6.8.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? May we have a second?
I will.
You have, Debbie. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then lastly, 6.9, approval of elementary and secondary calendar, the 2022 and 2023 school year. We will entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Member Coleman, second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, great, thank you. All right, we are now to the next portion of our board agenda, which is board reports and special concerns. We have 7.1, a board vacancy. Over Matt, are you here? Where's Matt? Matt, did you want to speak to something on the board vacancy interviews? Okay, we'll give you 3 minutes.
So the February 8th board meeting of this year, the minutes outline the process that was to be used for selecting and appointing Todd's replacement. Applicants' answers to questions were supposed to be sent to the board members for review, but with their names removed, redacted. Later in those minutes, Member Richardson questioned the blind names removed method, saying it had not happened in the past. And Member Wilkins explained that the purpose of redacting names is to keep it from being discriminatory in any way, and that it would be based solely on the responses and not influenced by who is applying. Unfortunately, rumor has it that process did not happen again, and names were made available to each board member from the very beginning. Further, rumor has it, I find it incredibly troubling that 2 of the 3 finalists, Ms. Aguilera and Ms. Robinson, are reportedly from the same church congregation as Chairman Nelson. Additionally, in Chairman Nelson's church, he is reportedly assigned to be their spiritual leader. A spiritual leader is apparently a high-ranking member of the church who provides guidance and leadership role within the church with great influence. In a business sense, this would be someone who would be considered an employer telling subordinates what to do. To add to the inappropriate influence, Chairman Nelson's wife is apparently Ms. Robinson's very best friend and neighbor. I'm going to be very clear here. I'm not speaking negatively about the candidates whatsoever. I don't know them. However, I operate a social media group with about 700 people that are from Grants Pass, citizens of Grants Pass. And in that capacity, I've been inundated with private messages saying what great women both of these ladies are, but there's deep concern over Chairman Nelson's influence over them. I share that same concern. I'm calling on the board members to investigate these allegations and to recognize what has happened here and to make a motion to table the interviews of the 3 candidates tonight and to form a committee of citizens within District 7 to conduct a genuinely blind review of all 14 applicants. To be clear, I'm not one of those 14 applicants, so there's no self-serving mission here. The appointment process has been tainted, and the board is now incapable of conducting a fair and impartial appointment process. That citizen committee could be overseen by a District 7 administrator and can come up with 3 finalist names where the board could then vote on them. That would be a fair process. Being born and raised here with a dad who was part of the district for 37 years, I naturally know quite a few people that are part of this district. I hear a lot of inside information about the good old boy system that this district seems to embrace, and this is just another classic example. After Chairman Nelson's pursuit to end the careers of Katie and Rachel 1 year ago, the aftermath has shown us the board is divided amongst their ideologies.
Matt, your time is up. The 3 minutes is concluded.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
All right,
prepares
thank you
Chairman Nelson to stack the deck again.
Thank you very much for your comments, Matt. So we have our board vacancy interviews that will be conducted this evening. I will just review the process. It was conducted under a blind review. The names were removed. All of the board members, I hope, can attest to that fact, that nobody had any idea who they were. We reviewed all of those, returned the scored reports to Tanya, who then scored them. We have selected the top 3 in a blinded fashion. We will now have the opportunity to hear from our top 3 candidates, and then we will give them 5 minutes to speak to the board. At that time, the board will have the opportunity to make a motion to approve one of the candidates or to table this for further discussion and come back at the next board meeting to select some of the candidates. If the board feels it prudent, based on false accusations that were provided tonight, I'm very happy to not vote for any of the candidates. We can let the rest of the board vote on a candidate to sit on the board with us. I'm very happy to recuse myself if there's any concerns in that regard from our fellow board members. So with that, are there any comments or questions about the process from the board as we move forward? Brian?
Yeah, I just wanted to make clear that when we did review the applications, the names were redacted.
Thank you.
I think a point of clarification might be that we knew the names of the 14 people, but the applications had been redacted.
Okay, that is true too. So yes. All right, with that then, we will start with Chad. Chad, are you here? We will give you 5 minutes, let you go to the microphone and speak to the board. Thank you for being here, and congratulations on being one of the top 3 candidates.
Absolutely. Thank you. First, I wanted to thank the members of the board for your consideration and for the opportunity to share tonight with you and with the community about why I think I'm the best candidate for this position. I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about my background, where I come from, and why I moved to Grants Pass. I grew up in a small rural community in Northern California. After high school, I attended Willamette University, which is a small school up in Salem, Oregon. One of my roommates there was a Grants Pass High School alumni, and he spoke very highly of his hometown. One of the nights we were there, I remember vividly watching one of his senior compilation videos of kind of what they had done at the school their senior year. And I was just really impressed with the school spirit and the community support around Grants Pass High School. It was very clear to me at that time that not only is Grants Pass a very special place, but that the educational experience here is something very different than what I received. In visiting Grants Pass thereafter, I noticed a sense of community and love for neighbors. From those interactions with Grants Pass, I began to develop an interest in the community, and a few years later, my wife and I decided that this is where we want to raise our children. In 2007, we moved to Grants Pass. I began working as a physical therapist, and for the next 11 years, I had the privilege to spend many hours listening to thousands of my patients from many different walks of life, grandparents, parents, students, athletes, educators, business people, and other community members share with me their stories and their perspectives over the course of their treatments. And one thing that came across loud and clear through those conversations is that Grants Pass is a city that values individual freedom, community, family, and children. This leads me to why I applied for the school board position. Those on the board, and perhaps some of you in this room, have read my application and seen my history of coaching and volunteering. I applied for the same reason that I first started coaching my son years ago. And it's the same reason why I continue coaching and volunteering today. That is to help kids. Simply put, I saw a need that I thought I could fill. I've noticed this same situation many times amongst the world of volunteering. There are always far more positions available than there are qualified good people. I decided back then I would step up when I was able to fill those voids. That is why I started coaching, and that is why I want to be on the school board. I want to be a voice for fellow parents, to help the district make decisions based on what is right and to do what is best for our children. I believe schools and thus school boards exist to provide a place to educate our students. It is not about the school board, it is not about the administrators, and it is not about the teachers, but rather it is about our students. It is about giving them the opportunity for an excellent education with the best teachers and administrators possible, and along the way equipping them for life. In providing our best for the students, we provide the best for the community and its future. Recently, more than ever, it has been made clear that parents want to have a voice in their children's educational process. You've seen that in this room. Not only do they want to be listened to, but they want to be heard, respected, and brought into the discussion. And at the same time, we've seen the response to the COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately and negatively affected students. This is evident by increased rates of depression, behavioral issues, and sadly, even suicide in our community. We've also seen many students leave the district. All of these are significant issues that need to be thoroughly investigated. I believe the school board has an incredible opportunity to partner schools and parents together to solve these problems, many others, and to ultimately best serve the needs of our children for the future of this community. I believe I'm uniquely positioned to provide insight into this process. This is in part because of my career and time spent working with parents and kids. This is also because I'm the son of an elementary school teacher who is about to retire after 34 years of teaching. She's made me very aware of the blood, sweat, tears, time, and passion that goes into teaching, especially for teachers that really care. Similarly, as a father of 3 kids under 15 years old, alongside my wonderful wife, I'm very aware of the effort it takes to purposely raise children, especially in today's world. As director of a private practice physical therapy clinic, I'm accustomed to budgeting, government restraints, and human resource issues. These are things I deal with daily, and I'm well prepared to work with given the opportunity to sit on the board. I pride myself on my work ethic, follow a high moral standard, and have a keen ability to listen to and weigh all sides of an issue when making decisions. For these reasons, I believe I am the best candidate for the school board position. Thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to your decision.
Thank you, Chad, very much. Any questions from our board members? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Brenda, we'll turn the time over to you. You have 5 minutes. Thank you for being here.
I'll lower this. Hello, everybody. My name is Brenda Aguilera, and I didn't come prepared. I wanted to speak from the heart. So I have lived in Grants Pass for 30 years now. I have been involved within this district for over 25 years in a variety of ways. As a parent of 3 students that went through the school district and graduated, as a volunteer, as an employee, as the MedChi advisor for a club that I started back in 12 years ago for students of color. And I am still very involved. I'm on the budget committee. I'm very involved within our community also. I am on the Four-Way Foundation board. I'm on the Josephine County Educational Board. I'm also on the So Healthy, I'm on the Equity Committee. So, and then I also am very involved within the youth themselves, all youth. There has been situations in the past where I have come to the school and students wait until I'm here to tell me about incidents. They know that they feel comfortable with me. They know that I'm there for them, that they can trust me, and I will advocate for them as much as I have to and go all the way to the top, as many of you guys know that already. I am here for the parents. I began working for this school district when my daughter started kindergarten. I was volunteering at Allendale Elementary, and I was volunteering the first year, and parents started coming in that did not speak English. And I started speaking to them in Spanish, and then I got approached, hey, why am I working for this district? So I started working, and throughout there, I started at Allendale, and I worked at South, I worked at North, I worked at Grants Pass, and then until my son was a senior and I had to bail out because he was sick, and then I ended up turning around and getting a job with Project Youth Plus. And I'm still very involved with the district and students at that time, with those students. I am a big advocate for Latino families. I feel that me being part of this board is very much needed because this community is growing of students of color, families of color, and you need a board member that is of color. We are making decisions that affect all our students, and somebody needs to speak for those students specifically and make you guys aware of their needs, that as much as you guys, I know you guys have, you know, big hearts and you guys care for them, but there's something there that you guys are missing because you are not a person of color. And I want to bring that to the board. I also I'm here for all students of, you know, from our top athletes to our special ed, to our LGBTQ. I'm here for all of them. If I'm advocating for one, I'm advocating for all of them. And I'm here for the parents. Many of you guys know that for me, you have to reach the parents to help these students, and I've always been there for the parents. And I was the second one when the votes came in. I was right behind Todd. That right there explains to you that the community wanted me. So on top of, you know, you guys voting, please remember that I was a second choice. So that to me says a lot also. And then on the other note, that if I don't get selected, I'm totally fine. I'll still be involved. You'll still see me. So I'm not going anywhere. So thank you.
Any questions for Brenda? All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. And last, Kelly Robinson.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Kelly Robinson. I was born and raised in Georgia. My mom is an AP English teacher. My dad sells peanuts. My husband, John, is from Grants Pass, and together we have lived here for 18 years and have been happily married for 22 years. We own Robinson Orthodontics, where I work as a payroll specialist and do the marketing and hiring for the practice. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Occupational Therapy from the Medical College of Georgia and a Master of Science degree in Public Health from Brigham Young University. I specialized in neurological inpatient rehabilitation, working at the teaching hospitals of Emory University, the University of Utah, and Loma Linda University, where I was the supervisor of the inpatient occupational therapy department. I was an adjunct professor at BYU and at Loma Linda University, teaching health and occupational therapy. I then retired to raise our 5 daughters, who are 19, 18, 16, 14, and 12, and who all have attended District 7 schools since kindergarten. So why am I the best candidate to serve on the District 7 school board? First, I love Grants Pass and District 7. Grants Pass is an excellent place to raise our family, and District 7 has been foundational in the growth of our children. The opportunities they have in music, sports, extracurricular activities, and education have honestly been excellent. It gives me great joy to have discussions around our dinner table about an important event in world history taught by Mr. Fry, or a discussion about Shakespeare taught by Mr. Gatula, or a math question that Mr. Kelly beautifully explained. District 7 has wonderful staff and programs that give my girls a greater understanding and appreciation for the world that I could ever give them alone. I know there are deep issues in our district that need addressing, such as budget shortfalls, students and staff leaving in large numbers, increasing numbers of at-risk students, federal and state mandates that cause division, and aligning our local standards and policy with those mandates. I know we as a board must work together to solve these troubling issues. However, I see and know District 7 firsthand as a parent, as a volunteer, and as a community member, and I am hopeful for the future. Public education is vital for our community, not only in lifting opportunity, but in binding our community together. I will work with you and others to make sure that each child continues to receive the best education and to feel safe, seen, and respected. We will carry on the strong tradition that District 7 has in helping to create integral, self-reliant adults. And together we will build on our successes to provide an even brighter horizon for future students. Second, I bring experience. As a chairman, president, and member of many civic organizations currently and over the years, I have experience about what the role of a board is and how a board works. I understand Robert's Rules of Order and how to be respectful. I know how to actively listen and consensus build. I know that a board's role is to have a wide range view and not a myopic or special interest-driven platform. I learned to be a deep reader to really understand topics that need to be addressed. Most issues are very complex and must be studied and pondered and discussed. I also bring experience as a parent who has both talented and gifted children and a child who has an IEP due to a learning disability. I understand that public schools can and should be excellent for all children. I bring experience as a supervisor, where I learned that the role of a manager is to help every employee be their best. As a supervisor, I learned to problem solve and draw from other programs that had successful results. I learned that, as President Truman used to say, the buck stops here. A board must make hard decisions and take full accountability for those decisions. I bring experience also as a professor and a teacher, so I understand many issues that teachers face. I appreciate the efforts that teachers give every day. I bring experience as a small business owner and understand the importance of being fiscally responsible, marketing, managing human resources, and helping each employee grow and become an important part of the team. I bring legislative experience as a former legislative liaison for the Georgia Occupational Therapy Board. I bring trustworthiness and integrity both in my personal life and my professional life. Third, I bring time and wisdom. I have time to study the issues, attend all the meetings, and be actively engaged in the schools and in the community. I bring the humility to know that I do not always know the answers and to admit that I am wrong sometimes. However, I also bring the wisdom to seek for the right answer, to learn from others, and to work hard. I believe that great school districts seek to unlock each student's potential and constantly seek ways to improve. I would love to be part of your board. Thank you again for this opportunity and for your service to our community.
All right, thank you very much, Kelly. Do we have any questions for Kelly? Okay, thank you very much. All right, so board, we've had the opportunity to hear from 3 excellent candidates, and I sincerely mean that. Each of you bring a unique aspect. We did have the opportunity to review, I believe it was 14 different applications, and I was quite satisfied as I read through them that we have many excellent people in this community who want to be a part of this organization and continue to help the students grow, and so we were grateful for those and for each of you. So if we would like, I'm happy to entertain a motion from the board.
I would like to nominate Chad, whose name I would have to learn how to say.
So we have a motion for Chad. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or comments?
Thank you. I would hope that this would not be a split board, but I realize that besides the 3 outstanding candidates we have in front of us, there are a number also of the other 14 or other 11 that were outstanding candidates for this position. However, I am looking for some qualities that Chad does not show as visually apparent, and while I appreciate his application, I appreciate his presentation, I have someone else in mind to add to the breadth of insights, perspectives, and life experiences that she might bring.
Debbie, you could also make a motion. We will have to vote on all of them, but you're certainly able to make a motion if you wish.
So is it normal to have one motion at a time and vote on that one, and then if it does not pass, then another motion? No?
When there's a motion on the floor, you have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's fine. We'll vote on the motion and then we can continue on if necessary. So any other comments?
Anybody else?
Correct. Do you want to say something about the proposal that's been put forward before the board?
Yes, we have a nomination, I understand, for, what's the gentleman's name again?
Chad.
Chad. I reviewed these 14 applications extensively, had plenty of time to do so, and I was absolutely amazed that there were 14 people that were willing to come forward in Grants Pass, even during these times when people are a little bit doing different things. And to have 14 people who really care that much about this opening on this board for this school district, I was overwhelmed. I was even more overwhelmed when we were asked to choose who we might pick or how we might pick them. And I know I quickly came to my top 4. And I couldn't believe it. It was right there, the top 4. The gentleman who's been nominated, I thought I was reading about myself 36 years ago. This guy's a superstar, and he's been hiding out somewhere. So Chad is very much in my vision. I also have spent hours wondering if this is the time when we need to bring color into our board, let alone our community. I've lived here 40-some years now. We don't see many people of color. We really don't. And I don't say that's bad, but I think that this is a new era, maybe for Grants Pass, Southern Oregon. I understand, didn't check it out, but I understand there may be, out of 5 board members, Ashland has 3 members of color. And I'm thinking about this, and then I'm thinking about a lady who has dedicated so much time, and it's all been under the radar. Until just now, she has bloomed forth like a flower, and we just have to be short a woman or 2. And I think that that's notable in that I like equality, and I do like to be fair. Is it fair for all concerned? That's my motto through my Rotary affiliation. And I think it might be time that we seriously consider Brenda Aguilera for this position because of the circumstances of how this position came about. Is we know she was a candidate on the ballot We know it was a tight vote, three-way, but one person didn't realize he couldn't be eligible after the fact, which made it very awkward, but of course he felt very bad about it and always will. And I think one day he might be on this board. But even though he won that election in numerical, it was very, very close, 22 votes, I think it said. And I don't know, in all these years Brenda has worked here and all the things she says she has done and has written, she's also the only candidate I saw on my list of 14 that had one reference letter from anybody. Now, we didn't say you needed one, but isn't that a smart thing to do when you're applying for something, is have a reference or two? And she had several. And I got the latest one this morning. It's very well written. Somebody from the other school district who knows Brenda and knows her personally as well as through education. So what I'm saying is we have two there, and then from the moment that I first bumped into Kelly Robinson, was on the Parks, or on the Bikeways and Walkways Committee. What was she doing there? Well, I heard she had 5 or 6 girls in her family. Well, she was probably trying to teach them how to ride a bike and go out to the park and have picnics and things like that. Well, I soon found out she not only did that, but she, everybody wanted her to be a chairman all of a sudden. And so she just jumped right in. And then, of course, she had to leave because she had 5 or 6 children. So, I mean, these things are so hard it's the timing. I'm looking at timing right now. I'm seeing a written election ballot where somebody's heart was broken when they actually had more votes than the other person, legal votes. And that, I'm not blaming the other person. I don't think he knew what he was doing on it, but because there would be no reason that I could see that. But I could see that Brenda is growing by leaps and bounds in this community, in representing this community, certainly a woman of color. She unabashedly tells us that. Well, we know what that means, and we're not used to it, but we'll get used to it because everybody eventually does. So I see all 3 candidates are absolutely outstanding. And I even had a 4th favorite, but that was my wife's suggestion, so I couldn't use that. But so I would vote or nominate any of the 3 of these, and they're all fabulous. The 3 top ones you could get for this circumstance and in this situation and this timing. I do think Brenda is here for a reason to be selected. So anyway, that's how I have to cast my vote, is I have to vote for all 3 of these people, which I can't do.
Okay, thank you, Cliff. Brian?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for applying, and I think our top 3 candidates are all excellent. My inclination is to vote no on this motion and to nominate Brenda, as she lost by, I believe, 22 votes in the election. So it just naturally would follow that she would be the choice, as she was so close to the person that won. Thanks.
Okay. Tanya, hearing no further discussion, we will have a roll call vote for the motion that's been put forward, which would be for Chad to be our newest board member.
Member Coleman?
I would like to vote for Chad, but I see Chad as my replacement. My term will soon be over. I'd love to have Chad in my seat. He's a quality man. And I'd like to think that maybe he learned something from getting to know me, even though we haven't met yet, just by reading his application. But because of my comments about Brenda and the timing, I'm not making that nomination now, but I would like to see it in about 12 months, 6 to 12 months. I would like to see Chad come back for another shot. If he's what he says he is, Grants Pass needs him.
So was that a no on the motion, Cliff?
Yes.
Okay, that's a no on the motion. Cassie? Or I'm sorry, Tanya, go ahead.
Member Wilkins?
Yes.
Member Dale Grange?
No.
Member Brownell?
No.
Member Richardson?
Yes.
All right, so by my reckoning, that's 3-2, so the motion does not carry. So we'll entertain a new motion. Brian?
I would move to appoint Brenda Aguilera.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further comments? Gary, seconded.
Member Chairman, I would like, Member Chairman, Board Chair Nelson, I'm sorry. I need confirmation on who made the second, please.
Gary Richardson made the second. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Tanya, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Coleman?
Well, I'm a little bit confused, not the first time. So it looks like what's happened here is maybe one member voted to second two different winners.
No. So the motion was made by Brian to select Brenda as the newest board member.
Yes.
Gary seconded that motion.
Yes.
There's been no comments or discussions, so now we're voting. So you're voting in favor of Brenda or not in favor of Brenda? Okay. That is the question before you.
Well, after what I've said is I want Todd. I wanted Todd too, I guess. I wanted Todd and he left me. And now I want, what's his name?
Chad.
Chad. I know another Chad on my park board, so what I want to do is second the motion for Brenda.
So it's been seconded, so are you voting in favor of Brenda? Cliff, are you going to vote yes for Brenda?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's a yes for Brenda.
Member Wilkins?
Yes.
Member Dale Grange?
Yes.
Member Brownell?
Yes.
Member Richardson?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. That motion carries 5-0. So Brenda, congratulations. You are our newest board member. We would like to thank Chad and Kelly. We would certainly encourage you to run for this position and to come back if there's another vacancy. As I think has been stated clearly tonight, we felt that every one of you were excellent candidates, and we thank you very much for your application. Brenda, if we could have you go to the microphone, we are going to swear you in tonight so you can join the board. Do I need to read this since she repeated her? She needs to read this. All right, Brenda, so I'm going to have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Brenda Aguilera,
I, Brenda Aguilera,
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the state of Oregon,
and the state of Oregon,
the Constitution of the state of Oregon,
the Constitution of the state of Oregon,
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof,
and the policies of Grants Pass School District Number 7.
and the policies of Grants Pass School District Number 7.
During my term,
During my term,
I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of the office of board member
of the office of board member
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much, Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Brenda would invite you to sit at the table with us.
She can have my microphone if you want.
All right, so we are under board reports and special concerns, and so we will invite the board members to speak as they wish.
didn't bring a copy of the Courier article, but this year at the annual Road Gateway Rotary Service Above Self Awards, usually we pick one person to exemplify the vocational and volunteer services to our community. Last year, it was our own Allendale principal, Mr. Musser. This year, it was a panel of 8 professionals from Three Rivers Asante, including our own Dr. Scott Nelson. And I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, and how deserving he and his fellows professionals are for their service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. All right, any other board reports or special concerns? Okay, well, great. We're going to go to our reports, the fun part of the meeting. So we have our elementary school principals who will be reporting to us tonight. And so it looks like Principal Musser is first up to the podium. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. So I think I could speak for all the elementary principals when I say the moment that we were able to let our staff know that we were bringing back events, activities, field trips, clubs, our staff became extremely excited and started brainstorming ways that we could fit all these things into 4 months versus, make up for the last year and a half. So just want to give you kind of tip of the iceberg, things happen in Allendale within the next few months. We kick off our jogathon this week. Our theme this year is Reconnect and Run for Fun. And our jogathon will be held on May 6th, so we'd invite anybody to come out and join us. We have after-school programs in full swing. Our Run Walk Club is happening on Mondays. Archery Club on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Sherry, it's totally safe, I promise. I've been watching over it, making sure we're doing good. Art Club on Thursdays, and then our chess club just finished up at the state tournament. Our team, with a couple of Lincoln kiddos as well, ended up 4th in state out of 17 teams, with Ben Varro ending up in 2nd place as in the individual category. So pretty exciting for them. We start our walking school bus. We were going to start it tomorrow morning, but weather is pretty wild right now, and that's where the kiddos walk from the Church of Nazarene parking lot to school. There's usually about 10 to 15 staff members, and we get about 100 to 150 kids walk with us. It's just encouraging. We started it with the Blue Zones project, and we've carried it on. And then a lot of field trips happening, especially in our upper grades, including outdoor school for our 5th graders, April 20th through the 22nd. And unfortunately, it's not all fun. We start our state testing next week as well, and there's still a lot of learning taking place, I promise. So that's happening at Allendale. Thanks, guys.
Good evening. We at Highland started just today a new initiative called Be Kind, See Kind, which I'm excited to roll out, and just to have a kindness focus, but especially on the See Kind part about having our kids be able to nominate other students for acts of kindness, and not just see me being kind, but especially seeing others being kind to them, and just kind of focusing on seeing the good in other people. So really excited about rolling that out as kind of a new community thing at Highland. And I stole what worked from my cohorts. We have a book vending machine now in our lobby. It is very exciting. Our kids love it. They're super excited to earn their tokens for books, and it has generated a lot of real positive energy here, kind of in a historically kind of low time of the year. So even though it was a late delivery, the timing turned out to be pretty good for our school. Mrs. Bannister has an after-school choir that's been meeting, an audition choir, 15 kids that have been coming for a couple months now after school and singing. So that's been, again, as Mr. Musser shared, just to be able to start having things that feel like, oh, we're back. So we're looking forward to our first small concert here at the beginning of May with this small group of choir. Our Learning Center's been hosting a 5th grade chess challenge, and they are learning the game and playing down to a final winner who will play me. And so far I'm 3-0, but I've seen this group, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose this year, so that is fine by me. We start our ELI testing next week as well for Smarter Balance, so that's another thing happening. Jogathon is May 13th, and our theme this year is Play It Forward, and so we are working towards making some much-needed changes to our playground, and I'm sure there's more to come that Sherry won't have to hear about come fall. But we're really excited to work on that. We really want to try to find a flat place on our playground where the kids can play, because we really don't have any place flat for our kids to play. So it sounds like a weird goal, but all of our soccer players tend to kick weird because they always are on the side of the field. So, and then lastly, I'm going to steal Christine's thunder a little bit, but I got a chance to observe sound discipline at Redwood today. It's a really exciting program, and we're going to start looking at how we can onboard that into the fabric at Highland. And I think it's a great system that is a much needed thing in our building. So that's it for me, and Ms.
Hi. So I'm going to share a lot of things you've already heard, because one of the things I love about our team is we are very collaborative. And so a lot of the initiatives that we see working at one building, we are sharing with each other. So that's been exciting. We kicked off a readathon. Was late February, early March. We raised almost $9,000. In addition to a generous gift from a donor, we also have a book vending machine that is coming our way. And so we're really excited about that, and a way to incorporate that into our behavior support systems and encourage reading. So we're very excited for that. Our Jogathon is coming up as well. And so looking to just replenish as we put in a new piece of playground equipment this last fall. Feels like it was last year, but we earned the money last year, put it in the fall. Also, we have been going through the positive discipline pilot school as well, following in the lead of Christine at Redwood, and really inspired by the work that they're doing. And so we have, as a school team, been slowly working through getting staff trained and starting to really look at our practices and policies in through a lens of how we are encouraging students, families, staff to be connected, know that they matter, and feel that they're safe and belong. So that's been really exciting. We're also getting lots of field trips going again, which is great. We've got 4th grade is going to be heading to Crater Lake here very soon. 5th grade in the outdoor school will be coming up. They're also doing a Table Rock field trip, which is really exciting. They've secured a local author, Tish McFadden, who's going to accompany them on the hike and kind of share elements from local history from the view of the Takelma tribe. And so that's super exciting. And we have also begun our state testing. And so we're just helping students and staff to remain calm and just do their best. And it's been a while since students and staff have been in that position to be in that testing environment. So we're moving forward with that. And the last thing is we're really excited about getting to onboard with being an AVID school starting next year. And so we have a team that will be going up to Summer Institute to learn about how we can better support that program from a K-12 model. So very exciting.
All right, going forth, it's harder because we're doing all those things too. But one thing I want to talk about is the Jogathon, right? One thing you didn't hear is, what are the principals going to do if the kids meet their goal? What are you going to do, Mr. Musser? You know what I get to do? Yeah, well, I get to dress up as a shark and sing some Baby Shark song. Yeah, so if you want to see that, if you don't want to see that, don't come to Parkside. So that's something a little bit different that I get to do. Danny, Sherry, you guys will be proud of me. I'm making better choices now. Walked into the gym. I know, Danny. I'm glad you're leaning against there because you might have fallen down. Walked into the gym with Mrs. Pike, and she has all these unicycles. I'm like, sweet, the kid. I run over there, grab one. I get on it and I go, Rob, you're 56 years old, dude. Be careful. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to hang that right back up there. See? I told you I could do that, Danny. Right? So pretty cool. We all have that available to us. So that's one of the nice things of the PE teachers, and it's at Parkside now, so kids are getting that experience. The one thing I want to share that we're all doing is, I think it's the 5th or 6th year now. It's just been broken up as the One District, One Book. We're reading Nims Island. And I know we're doing a lot of cool things. We have scavenger hunts. We have questions of the day. It's in our announcements. Kids are super excited. And it's just cool to see every student in the school talking about the same thing, getting excited. And all the staff members are reading chapters and we have videos and playing, and I know that other schools are doing that. So that's just a really neat thing. I think that we started quite a few years back and we're continuing it. So those are just a few of the things that happen at Parkside. Oh, she asked me to do this. Say better?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Rob. So at Redwood, we're doing a lot of the same things that the other schools are doing. We're gearing up for our second session for Ready for K too, as well, with all of our parents, and that's been very exciting for our next year's kinders. We're getting our book vending machine coming, I think, next week. We're gearing up for our jogathon as well, and our theme is a camping theme. So our school-wide assembly, we're doing a K2 and a 3-5 assembly. I'm going to be in a little tent and then come out in my camping clothes and get everybody excited. And so we are in our second year for our Positive Discipline Pilot School, and we're really excited about it. Today we had the opportunity to do a half-day PD with 4 teachers, and they, with the sound discipline, positive discipline, sound discipline are the same thing. They just kind of go hand in hand. And 4 teachers were able to go in and do a class meeting and watch each other, observe each other do that, and get some ideas of how to improve their own practice with the sound discipline team, and then go in and debrief with each other. And it was a great opportunity for them to just kind of reflect on their own practice and ask questions of each other. And what we've been learning is that the more we're into this, the more they're able to kind of teach students how to regulate themselves, and then they've been able to dig deep into their academics, and students are able to access academics more freely, and they're able to really just dive into academics in school. So it's been great. April, we're focusing for Student of the Month on kindness, which is what Redwood's all about, choose kind. So we're having a great start to April. All right, Riverside.
Last but definitely not least at Riverside. I should have, after hearing all these book vending machines, I should have gotten a contract with Global Vending to get some kickback, because Riverside was the first to start that. But I'm glad that they're all coming because the kids love it. At Riverside, you guys know that we had a little bit of COVID learning loss over the last couple of years. And one of our biggest deficits, I think, was with some of our math kids. Sat down with my Title I teachers and said, teacher and the Title I team, what can we do? And for the last couple months, we've had 40 kids staying an hour a day after school, doing extra math tutoring, and that's coming to a conclusion here. But my Title I teacher and a bunch of our assistants have just been after school 4 days a week with almost 40 kids doing that. And that's, the parents come in, they come pick them up, and they see smiles on their face coming out after math, which is really cool because kids don't normally like to do math after school. You guys talked about the skills trainer contract earlier, and that's one of the things I wanted to highlight because I talked to our skills trainer today. She sees on average about 40 kids a month just in her little one-on-one skills training. She also does groups that she pulls in about another 20 kids. And on top of that, she's out on our playground almost every single day, not only helping do supervision, but working, kind of observing kids, seeing what's happening in the moment, and then working on those skills later. So that has been one of the biggest investments I can see that we've done in a while. I think that's a really huge benefit for our school specifically. Behavior's down, academics are up. I think it's the impact has been huge. We are participating in the One District, One Book. That's been super fun. And then our Jogathon was super successful. And I want to thank Member Brownell because she stopped yesterday to donate money to Riverside Jogathon. And we applied that money to 2 kids that were super excited because they had their own struggles and did not get to participate in the money fundraising, so they get their prizes. So I wanted to say thanks for that as well. Field trip season has started. All of our 4th grade kids, and I believe all of them in every elementary school, went to see Shrek the Musical, which was amazing. I got to sit by some kids that have never seen a musical, and they were so excited, and it was super fun. Our 2nd grade is going to Wildlife Safari. 1st grade's going to Science Works. 5th grade's going to the coast. 4th grade's already gone tree planting. And spring is my favorite time of year because we get to see all these things happening. State testing is beginning. We did our science test already, and 62% of our 5th graders were proficient. Pulled up the data today on the kids across the state that have taken the test already. 26% of the kids in the state are proficient, so nice job to our 5th graders. And then I want to thank Grants Pass High School leadership kids because they are sending kids over to do leadership buddies, and they just come play in the playground with our kids at recess. And to see these kinder kids look up to the high school kids that come through, it's honestly the cutest thing in the world, and our kids are totally loving it and appreciating that. And then I also want to thank Gladiola. I don't see Gladiola here, but our internship program starting back up. And you guys probably know it's been really hard to find some quality employees over the last year. We currently have 3 former Gladiola interns hired as educational assistants at Riverside Elementary School. Without that program, I would be floundering right now. So that's Riverside in a nutshell.
Well, thank you. I can't tell you how good it is to be back to normal. We're back to school, we're back to testing, we're back to having all of the issues that we've had before, and we're not talking about Zoom links or kids on computers, and it's good to be back. So thank each of you for your efforts and what you're doing. I'm very impressed to hear that our kids are more proficient than the rest of the state. I hope we will continue to see that. So any other comments from the board? Ryan?
Yeah, I just had a question about the positive discipline pilot. Is that something that the board's gotten a presentation on before? It is, okay. I just don't remember. Thank you.
That's what happens when you get older, Brian. I only speak from experience, but I actually remember we did have a presentation on that. And I think the board's response was we need to expand this to all of the schools, and it was a wonderful project and a program. So, yeah. All right. Any other comments from the board members? All right. Our last 2 items under reports are all with Director Cantola. So, Danny, we will turn the time over to you for 8.2 and 8.3.
All right, here we go. This should be fun. Yeah, Brian, it stinks to get old. So, and if you'll do me a favor, apparently I'm getting older today. This is my 24th anniversary of my 33rd birthday. And there should be no cupcakes that go home with me. So those cupcakes over there are really good. I did not make them. Irene did. And if you have never had a cupcake or cake made by Irene, you don't know what you're missing. So please make sure that there are none of those left by the end of the day today. So IDTs. Oh, thank you, Mr. Richardson. You asked us a terrible question just before we left the board meeting when we were talking about IDTs before. We are asking tonight, or letting you know tonight, that we're going to change the timeline. And so we moved some things up. And so why in the world are we doing that? Tricia always asks, what's the why for doing those types of things? And so we're at this place now where I think everybody knows that we've had a decline in enrollment. We also have to do some budget work, and we also have to do staffing. And all those things are kind of coming together right now. And so we're trying the best we can to determine, well, how many kids are we going to have to staff for and get an opportunity to staff for next year? And so by opening the IDT slots up earlier than normal, we're hoping to get a better picture sooner than we normally would. So that's one of the whys. And just so you know, also, Susan's leading an effort along with the elementary principals to reach out to students who were not homeschooled prior to the pandemic. They became homeschooled during the pandemic at some point in time, and so they're trying to make personal contacts with them and postcards and things out to see if we can also encourage some of the homeschool students that left during that time to come back. So that's the why for making those adjustments. And then I also just want to have a conversation with you. Gary asked me the question. It was a great question. So we've got 500 kids that are missing. How many slots are we going to open up? So what we did so far is we have looked at what we normally would do. Bless you. And what we normally would do is that at the elementary level, we would look at any classes that have less than 23 students in it, and we would open up an IDT slot to get those classes to 23 students. That we feel like that gives us wiggle room to grow if students come and that kind of stuff. So in doing that, though, we're talking a larger than usual number of elementary IDT slots that we could be bringing to the board to open up. And that would be actually somewhere in the neighborhood of 181 potential elementary-only slots, getting those class sizes only to 23. And that is with reducing a few elementary classes before we even start that process. The other thing that we have room to do this year that we have not had room to do in the past 5 years is we believe that we potentially have the room to open up some middle school slots. We believe we have the staffing and room right now that we could open up as many as 30 IDT slots at each grade level at the middle school, and we would be room-wise okay to do that. Ryan has also graciously said we believe we can open up as many as 40 freshman slots and maybe as many as 30 sophomore slots as well, because those disperse throughout all the classes in the high school. So just openly, Gary teased about let's open up 500 IDT slots. We could be in the 400, high 400 range just by doing what we normally do and then adding a few middle school slots into the mix. So wanted to give you a heads up about that. If that is a concern in any way, would definitely appreciate it if you would let Superintendent Kolb know, because our goal is to bring you a recommendation to open slots at our next meeting in April 26th, I believe it is. So, Brian, have you got a question for me?
Yeah, so it sounds like we're down 500 plus students and you're potentially proposing we open up 400-ish slots?
Give or take 466 plus maybe some slots at GP Flex. And there's still some fleshing out of things that we will do before we get to that final determination here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, I just want to make sure that there's enough slots for students that have left in the past 2 years to be able to return as well.
Yes. That's why the simultaneous reach out here strong in the next couple of weeks to see if we can get some of those students back.
And one of those weird data things, I remember from our population study or our projections for students, they had some weird number that actually the first graders, when they went to second graders, there was more of them.
I think it's kinder to first.
Well, actually, it progressed through most of the elementary, if I remember right. So I'm recommending go look at that study because they didn't have a reason for it. They just said it happens for whatever reason. There's actually this kind of growth that naturally occurs. So if you're trying to hit the 23 thing, you might take that into consideration.
Yeah, I don't know that we're trying to hit 23. 23 is a number that gives us flexibility. So if we get a couple of students at a second grade or third grade or something like that, we're not now all of a sudden at 30 in a primary classroom or something.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a piece of data there that's not what you would expect.
Thank you.
have a question, Danny.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
How do you select, if you're doing so many kids in middle school, what school they're going to funnel into?
Boy, that's a good question. So we, to the best of our ability, we do the best to allow students to have their choice of which school they'd like to go to. On a rare occasion, we may get more requests for one or the other, and if that's the case, it's a lottery. Whichever numbers are drawn first get their first choice, and then we'll call the students and say, sorry, it's full at South, but we do have openings at North. Would you be interested in going to North? Yeah. Just because we open them doesn't mean they'll come. History says we'll do great at kindergarten, we'll do great at 9th grade. We have no idea what's going to happen at middle school because we haven't had real slots open at middle school in a very long time. But elementary, we've had, 15, 20 slots open at some grade levels before, and we have not always filled them all. So just because we open them also doesn't mean that they're going to come. So, all right. Thank you, guys. If you take a look behind you, if you look out the window behind you, and there is a baseball fence with a yellow thing on the top of it. If any first basemen are misbehaving badly, please ignore them. And then between that baseball fence and the fence that is the tall one, we had an email that came in from the city asking us if we would be interested in maybe doing a lease or doing a purchase for a chunk of land next to the swimming pool, because as the city does the renovation to the swimming pool, they're interested in maybe using that land. So we're not asking tonight that you commit to, yes, we'd like to sell, or yes, we'd like to lease that land. And what we're asking is their interest in exploring work with the city. And we're not even saying there would necessarily have to be a sale or a purchase. It might be something where we would go to the city and say, what about a partnership for parking? When I talk to Claire, when I talk to Ryan, when I talk to Sherry, that seems to be the biggest need for us is parking, and that may also be a need for the city with the swimming pool as well. So we would certainly at least like to talk to them about that. Without committing to anything tonight, we'd like your permission to talk to them, but wanted you to know what in the world it is that we're talking to them about. So.
If only we had someone on the city who could help fill us in. Oh, wait.
Danny did a really good job. So the city is looking to basically replace Caveman Pool. It's beyond the point of renovation. So in planning for that, one of the issues that came up is lack of parking. If the city is going to be investing millions and millions of dollars into a new facility, they would like to make sure that it's readily accessible to people. So I think the city probably has the same idea as a school district as far as the issue being mostly parking related. And whether that is solved through a lease or a purchase or just simply a partnership with the city and the school district, which I think would probably be preferred from my perspective. Yeah, I think that's all they're asking for. I don't know that they're necessarily looking to expand the pool facility up there. I think they're mostly just trying to address the parking concern. In which case I would be in favor of talking about a partnership with them.
Gary?
I'm certainly in favor of having discussions with the city.
I would too. It sounds like there's what appears to be a consensus among the board members to continue to explore what that would look like with the city. So, thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget the cupcakes, especially the kids.
Brian?
Yeah, I just wanted to make one more point on the pool. The city is proceeding with a plan for it to be similar to how it is now as an outdoor municipal pool, which is a seasonal pool. I know there's been some talk at the district about potentially having that site have some sort of enclosure over the pool or something so that it can be utilized in more of a year-round fashion. So if the board or the district wants to talk about that as well, I would suggest that maybe we kind of take the lead on that piece, because without that happening, it's probably just going to proceed as an outdoor municipal pool.
Okay. With that, then we will proceed to 9.0, our future meeting dates and suggested agenda items. We have our next budget planning meeting on April 21st at 5 p.m. Sherry, is that here, or will that be on Zoom? Okay. 26th, we have our next board meeting, which will be at 5 p.m. We'll go back to our regularly scheduled programming. On May 5th, we have our formal budget meeting, which I suspect will be here as well, or Sherry will let us know. And then we do have a board workshop on May 9th. It's our last one in order for us to garner some funding for our students to receive scholarship money. So we're excited about that. May 10th and then May 24th are our next two board meetings. So with that, unless there's anything else, Brian, you're going to hold us up. I'm trying to get you out of here by 6 o'clock. So, okay, go ahead.
I appreciate that. I was just wondering, are we going to have to now appoint another new budget committee member since Brenda has moved to the board?
Well, we'll let Sherry worry about that, bringing forward another name for the budget committee. So, okay. With that, then, we wish to thank everyone for your attendance and for the board and all their work, and we will adjourn our general session. Thank you very much.